It's that time again. It's 6:30. It's In the Know, brought to you by the Racing Post and Coral. My name is Ross Brierley, and 2 days down at Royal Ascot with 3 more to go. Big prices, big gambles landed as well today, and big, I guess, returns to form in the shape of Auguste Rodin. It was very much a French benefit in a fashion in the feature for today. French horses filling the second and third, and French artists winning in the shape of Auguste Rodin. We had some well-backed horses win their races as well. Saïd Bin Suroor won the Hunt Cup with the Group 1 horse a couple of years ago, and he might well have done it again today. Again, another big result in that first race in the Queen Mary. Again, surely one of you out there had at least a 10p trifecta or something on that, with Wathnam Racing landing a winner eventually, and a big gamble in the Windsor Castle as well under a Jamie Spencer special. Lots of others to talk about as well, and then more to look forward to tomorrow as we have a right old lineup in the Ascot Gold Cup. We've got a short price 2-year-old in the Norfolk, which traditionally is a terrible thing to be backing. And of course, apart from that, we've mostly got 3-year-old races, so plenty of big fields and big opinions, I'm sure. It is live and interactive, as you well know. Hopefully some of you are already on the chat box. Let's have a look who we can give a shout out to. Hello to Tom, to Stevens99, to Daisy Taylor, to Cheese, of course, to Mike Boy, Adam Hopkins, Frizzy Red, Sean Matthews, and plenty of others. So get involved. Like the stream if you haven't done so already, and let us know your fancy. What really worked last night was putting your best bets, your naps, in capital letters, put the horse, then your reasoning afterwards. Then I can scroll back through and pick them out amongst the infighting, arguing, and pedantry, which is, if I'm honest, my favourite bit of the chat box. So, but get your best bets in capital letters and let us know what you think. Graham Rodway stepped into the pundit's chair in the office last night, and to be fair, he landed 2 naps on the bounce, so no pressure on Paul Kealy coming back in. Paul, you've been all over the shop. You've been up early for Ascot, you've been late here.
Yeah.
Are you going to make it? Are you going to be awake at 7:30?
I'm not sure I'm going to make it through the show, to be honest. I'm not sure I'm going to make it for the week if I don't back a winner either. Some near misses today.
Sonny Liston was a painful
Sonny Liston, yeah, you're talking about they might have won it with a Group 1 horse. I mean, he was given £13 to him. He would definitely have been first or second in the Queen Anne, probably second, but he'd have got closer than Docklands did.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good horse on the straight track, Sonny Liston, no doubt about it. And that hurt. But I was back to 4th as well, and I had savers on the 3rd and 5th.
Right, okay. Did you try them without the favourite market, perhaps?
I wish I had.
To a certain extent, though, it's been, again, I'm not saying the winners are easy to find necessarily, but when you look at the races, they kind of make sense to a certain extent.
Oh, there was plenty. There was plenty of ones that are not surprising you if they win. I mean, obviously Auguste Rodin was the best horse on his best form from last year. It's a case of whether he brought it back, and he just about did. I don't think it was a vintage race.
No.
I don't think he's a superstar. I'm still actually not convinced he needed to run to last year's best form to win it. I thought Horizon Door was coming to get him, but he came from too far off. And obviously you backed Zarakem, didn't you? So.
And I backed Zarakem, box 8, and I thought, lovely, just on the outside. Oh, going down the rail, are you?
Yeah.
So actually, if you'd had a clean fight between the 3 of them, it might have been an interesting finish. But...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play the Duke of Cambridge, but running line was very gettable, wasn't it? Because if you give her a run on silly racetrack like Epsom, and she actually looked like the drop in trip was what suited, so that was very gettable.
She's now 4 from 4 over a mile. And interestingly for that race, remember this, Keels, to clip this out for next year, the last, including today, the last 3 winners of that race ran in the previous year's Oaks.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a horse dropping down in trip.
Dropping down in trip, dropping down in trip. And of course the baffling one for me was the opening race. I mean, again, too busy doing other things, working and etc., and trying to study for the next day. But Liavani was 6 to 1 second favourite in places this morning. Yeah. All right. There's a big word from Mikhail Burkyard going around that it's pretty decent, and he's gone off at 22s.
Yeah. Bizarre. I mean, because as soon as she bolted up at Nottingham, the anti-post markets went mad for her. Yeah. When she won, I was expecting to see the SP second favourite.
Yeah. Another reminder: drifters win.
Yeah.
Drifters do win, especially at places like Royal Ascot. Obviously, you've had the other effect as well, because you've had a few being absolutely smashed because Ain't Nobody was was 20 to 1 this morning in a place, wasn't it? And has gone off fives. Wild Tiger was nowhere near favourite. I mean, I know he was one of the factors, which was near favourite, but it was almost 10 to 1 the field, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's gone off 11 to 2. So it goes both ways. But if you fancy one at somewhere like Royal Ascot and nobody else likes it, don't worry about it. Just back it again.
Well, I mean, it's a reasonable. You could probably make a reasonable case, I'd say, for 50% of the horses running at Royal Ascot, and that means about 50 to 60 horses a day.
Yeah.
So if somebody else doesn't fancy your one, it doesn't mean you're wrong.
No, of course it doesn't. No, of course it doesn't. It's just market forces, isn't it? At the end of the day, there's well over 100 runners every day, isn't there? You're only going to get 7 winners.
Yeah. What was quite interesting, I thought, you talk about the Queen Mary, Leovani returned a big price. Now, the one they smashed was Kasaya, and Kasaya got stopped about 4 times in the run. And then, in the last 2-year-old race, of course, they all came down this near side. Now, if Kasaya had got a clean run, it might have been a different result. I wonder if you're going to start to see this, the jockeys. It takes about 2 days at Royal Ascot.
I mean, I think, if anything, the first 2 days we've seen, you can win from anywhere. You really can win from anywhere. I mean, it looked in the penultimate race as though they were all starting to edge over towards the far side, didn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Whereas in the Hunt Cup, they rode to their draws. I mean, a furlong out, almost everything had a chance, didn't it? You know what I mean? You can. And
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? And I feel like on the 3rd, 4th, 5th day, the jockeys go, I tell you what, let's all go down that rail.
Yeah, I know. But if you do that and you're drawn on the other side, you've got next to no chance unless you've got tons in hand. So stay where you are. Yeah. It's worked. You can win from anywhere.
Yeah. OK, Paul Kealy in the studio. Just checking, we were struggling to get Mr. Tom Segal. He's not yet. We're still waiting for Big Tommy Segal, as we call him. He keeps going out for a run before the show, so it's entirely possible he's locked himself out. So what happens when Tom Segal leaves the house? Havoc ensues. Lewis Knowles.
Call the police, don't they?
What's that?
They call the police, don't they?
They do. They say the Seagal's on the loose. Seagal's on the loose. Lewis Knowles joining us for tonight. Simon Clare's off on his travels again. So Lewis, you're in. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Ross. It's Royal Ascot, isn't it? You've got to bring a bit of fashion, I think, for Royal Ascot. I think that's why I've been brought on, because, we love Simon and Steve-O, but I don't think stylish is the word that's used to describe them very often. So I've got myself here tonight. I think you've got John Hill later in the week, so we're going to bring you just a little bit of style for Royal Ascot.
Well, I mean, you're a rare man, Lewis, who buttons up that top button, and that shows there's not many people around here with necks thin enough, myself included, to button up that top button and not choke halfway through the show. So style and obviously sleek, fitness, youth on your side, you've got it all, mate.
Well, I might undo it as the show goes on. We're starting buttoned, but we might get a little bit more casual as the show goes on. Not too much, only one button. We don't want to push it, but we might get a little bit more relaxed as the show goes on.
Lovely stuff. Before we get stuck into the cards and get an advert, can you... we'll get the price boost after that. So we'll get stuck into tomorrow and we'll get your price boosts and your angles and your selections. But first, let's roll this. Still waiting for Tom Segal. If you are in the... Where does he live? Reading, sort of Reading area, is it?
Yeah, so that sort of way, yeah.
Should we send out a search party?
I was going to say, if it was me that was going to miss, you'd just say he's in a box somewhere at Ascot getting ratted, aren't you? But that's not Tom, is it?
No, it's not Tom, no.
I don't know.
He could be quite literally...
his computer's gone wrong, apparently. He's just texted me. So
right.
There you go. So we've got issues.
You know what solves that, though, don't you? Coming into the studio.
Absolutely, yeah. Come in. Yeah, I have to. I came from Ascot today.
I know, exactly. That's further than Tom's house, isn't it? So, right, let's look at day 3 of Royal Ascot as we look at the Norfolk Stakes. It is a 6-5 favourite here in the shape of Whistlejacket. 6-1 shareholder. Saturday Flirt is 9-1. Asterius 9-1. Arizona Blaze 9-1. Milford 14s. Loom 16s. Tropical Storm 18s. And bigger prices the rest. Evening Saigon doesn't go. If you are thinking of backing Whistlejacket, I'm not saying the horse won't win, but I'm not saying this race throws up shocks, but if you'd managed somehow in a weird world to have backed the last 5 winners of this in an accumulator, the odds would have been 3.81 million to 1. That's how unlikely and big prices you get in the Norfolk. Lots of short price favourites, lots of good horses beaten in the Norfolk at short prices as well. But 5 furlongs, fast ground, 2-year-olds in a Group 2 with loads of improvement to come, Keels. And you're asking me to take 6-5 about Whistlejockey? I don't care if he's the second coming. I'm not touching him.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I couldn't either. But it's not going to surprise you if he wins, is it? I mean,
Not
he
at all.
did look an absolute tool, didn't he, when he won last time? And the falls worked out as well. So yeah, he's very much the one to beat. I make it 5 of the last 16 2-year-olds to go off 6-4 short of 1. All 5 were trained by Aidan O'Brien, but he was also responsible for 5 of the losers.
Those prices, you know.
Yeah, those prices, yeah. You know, I can't get involved. It's not going to surprise me in the slightest. He's got the best form in the book so far, as we know. But as we know, horses can improve a tremendous amount from one run to the other. And that's your danger, isn't it? I mean, look at the 80-1 winner of the Cov.
Yeah.
That's £24 on RPRs, that one improved on its best run. And that's what can happen. Whistlejockey has run to a level that's still a fair bit under an average winner of the Norfolk Stakes. So, you know, some of these are going to come forward, whether they come forward enough, and of course he can still come forward too. But, I think you've got to take him on.
Just a couple of things to mention, right? So, first off, for example, in the first race today and in the last race, the 2-year-olds who've already run on fast ground have been winning. And I'm not saying he might not improve for
Yeah,
it.
but this is the other thing. Like, I mean, yes, he's by no nay never, but he also handled cut, didn't he? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
He's actually he's one of those weird sires that's good for heavy ground and fast ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did he? In fact, yeah, he won at Ascot, but he also won on Good to Soft at Deauville, of course, didn't he?
That probably would have been
in the
fast ground
in the morning.
France, isn't it?
Yeah, but either way,
But yeah, you've got to prove it, haven't you?
You have.
Simple as that. Like, I mean, you say he's very fast and all that, but he's very fast on soft ground. Is he very fast on fast ground? It's a completely different ball game, isn't it?
The other thing I was going to throw to you, that what seems to have changed this year in particular, is there's been, and I mean millions and millions thrown at British-based 2-year-olds with your Carl Burkes, your Archie Watsons. We've had a selection of Irish horses coming over, but they're up against now 20 breeze-up horses who are all worth $250,000 each.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and some.
Yeah. So it looks a bit harder this year for them to make an impact.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
What was on your shortlist?
Well, I wanted to find something. I was going down through through a few.
Through a few, yep.
Told you I've been up for a long while. I ended up coming down on what looks like the Wathland second string, Asterius. And as we still haven't got Tom Segal on, I can tell you that he came down on that one as well. We haven't discussed it. Obviously, Tom's a massive fan of Archie Watson, and Archie Watson's won a ton of sprints at Royal Ascot, hasn't he? Whether Wokenhams or Queen Mary's and Norfolks and Windsor Castles or whatever. He's won
King Stands.
He's won a few. He's won a King Stand.
Coventry's.
He won the Palace of Holyrood last year.
And his
really
2-year was second on the side in the Windsor Castle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he knows what he's got when it comes to, especially when it comes to sprinters. And yes, it was probably a fairly Mickey Mouse race at Bath. You can't really talk the form up that much. That he won, but he won it very easily. I like to comment afterwards. Right, he just said he's very quick. We're only working with older stakes horses. You know what I mean? And to me, that just means he's very good. I mean, he'll have his fair share of choice of 100 rated sprinters to work with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he's having to working with those, then he's a good horse. Whether he's good enough to beat the Fav, I don't know, but I expect him to be one of the main dangers. And that was the way I was looking at it. Obviously, Carl Burke's already nailed a winner.
Yeah.
So the Wathland second string shareholder is going to be a danger too. But James Doyle may have picked the wrong one.
Yeah. I would say as well, Richard Fahey has run 4 horses in this in the past 5 years. 2 have won and 2 have finished second. And he's got 2 in here. He's got Moving Force and he's got Loom. And Loom's form was franked earlier on. The horse who finished a well-beaten 4th, Shazani, came out and dotted up at Hamilton. Yeah,
true. So, and he's a big price in places, isn't he?
Yeah. Really interesting Norfolk then. Short price favourite here though, Lewis. What have you got? Price boost, offers, opinions?
Yeah, very short price favourite here with Whistlejockey. So if you do want to get involved in this one, we're going to push him out just to win by over a length. So was 2-1, now 5-2. for the hot pot to, as I say, win by over a length. So, yeah, you can have up to £10 on that one for the duration of the show. Probably the best backed horse in this race early on is this Arizona Blaze. So, was 14-1 earlier this morning, now 9-1. So, really good money for that one for Adrian Murray. I mean, if the one thing we've learned this week is that you shouldn't laugh at people that put up massive outsiders in the 2-year-old races. So, I'm going to go for the absolute rag of the field in Binadam for Kevin Philpott de Foy. So I think this one's about 50-1 at the moment. I mean, is it poor relation in this? I mean, it only cost 85 grand. Only 85 grand, which is a staggering amount of money. But plenty of these cost £500,000. Won a pretty Mickey Mouse race at Yarmouth on his debut, but he was very, very keen early that day. They just didn't go fast enough for him. That's not going to be an issue here. They're going to go off like the clappers, so he should be able to settle a bit better. And I just thought, yeah, we've seen some huge price 2-year-old winners this week. He could be the next one, and at 50-1, I just thought there was probably worse 50-1 shots at Royal Ascot through the week.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's related to 3 black type 5 furlong 2-year-olds. He won on fast ground. He won basically as he liked, comfortably as well. It's always nice to see you've got 4 or 5 horses in behind and a blanket, and he's comfortably
trainer
clear.
Trainer says he's a definite fast ground horse, and he's easily the sharpest horse he's got in the yard. For youngsters, and he's an up and coming trainer, isn't he? Knows the job. He
does. Right, okay. There's a few opinions in the Norfolk. Does anyone have any on the chat? The Ammo Racing Island Horse each way, says Mike Boyd. That is, of course, Arizona Blaze. Sharehail that looked like a 3-year-old, says Stevens 99, is too short. And Duncan Evans' Whistle Jacket is his entire nap of the meeting. So best of luck with that one. This is the Norfolk Stakes then. Rattling over to the King George V Stakes, we have just shy of a mile and a half. 19 3-year-olds going to post here, and as ever, it's going to be pretty dicey from a draw, from a looking running perspective. It always kind of is in this race, but there's a 6-1. Joint favourites here, and they're drawn 7 and 6, or 6 and 7 respectively on your screen. They're Gilded Water and Chantilly, they're 6-1 the pair. Ponyross 7-1, Going the Distance 7-1, French Duke 9s, Persica 12s, Gallantly 12s, 410 Fever is 14-1, and then bigger prices the rest. 19 runners, and yeah, I've had a few people I've spoken to this week, Keels, say that I'm getting obsessed with the draw on the round track and you should just ignore it. But again, I do think it gets a little bit worse over this mile and a half, and it gets worse as the week goes on.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, there have been winners from single figure stores of this, but I mean, in general, it's higher the better, isn't it? Higher's an advantage. It's definitely an advantage. Now, you can do it. The problem is you've got to get it run unless you're going to be near the front, and sometimes they just go lunatic fast, don't they? I mean, last year's race in particular.
Oh, I mean, that was insane.
Was the most amazing race you could see for pace. I mean, he was, I can't remember the name of the horse now. Davideo, but he was running sprint fractions down the back. I know it's downhill, so they're fast, but
he got beat 60 lengths, didn't he? And he came out next time out and won off a mark of 92.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to be with horses drawn low. That's a personal preference for me too. And I'm just a little bit surprised that Chantilly's favourite ahead of Ponyross, who ran on strongly and caught him in the London Gold Cup, and to finish second and look for all the world like he was the strongest day of the pair. They are going up 2 furlongs to a mile and a half. Now, London Gold Cup is a brilliant race year after year after year. Israr, who won yesterday, he won it 2 years ago.
He did, yeah.
And he's now a borderline Group 1 horse after that performance. And I think King's Gambit, the winner, probably is a Group 1 horse.
Well, yeah, we'll see if he's a Group horse later on.
He's thrashed these, obviously. He won by 4 lengths. But the fourth come out and won very easily from a horse I thought was really well handicapped in a Derby Day handicap, Epsom.
Well, he's here as well.
And he's here as well, yes. But he's up, and he's now giving weight to those that finished ahead of him. Or so he's worse off at the weights at least than those that were ahead of him. So I'd be happy enough to go in with a horse that hasn't run since and gone up in the weights, and I think Ponyross is probably still very, very well handicapped. He's by Golden Horn. He's surely going to improve again, isn't he?
You'd assume so, wouldn't you?
He's going to improve again.
Well, he's one of those horses, isn't he, that, again, he won in heavy ground in October on his debut as a 2-year-old. There's no way that he's in the full swing of it this season. I mean, he's barely been a racehorse for what, 9 months, 10 months?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so he's not been going a full year yet. I thought Gallantly might run well for Aidan O'Brien. I thought that was a really nice win last time. Son of Frankel, drawn 15. And there was one other. I mean, got one drawn 5, Cambu, trained by Richard Hughes. Now, he was very keen on that when we spoke to him earlier in the week. It's an interesting way to get a horse handicapped, having a third run in the Derby. Yeah. Like, you know, but he did say I could have run him in a novice at Yarmouth and got a mark of 95.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So he comes in here off 89 and he's convinced he's better than that. Got to get a run though, isn't it? Like, you know, and that's the thing.
He feels a bit to me like he might be a Voltager or something horse further on down the line if he.
Yeah, well, but if you think he's a Voltager horse, he's running off 89, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? He needs to be 110 to win a Voltager.
Well, I mean, we saw a horse bred to win the Arc win off 85 today.
Yes,
so.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. Rafe Beckett's got Go in the Distance as well, who's, you know, he's an interesting horse, but all roads leads to Poneros for me. I just think he's just going to run really well.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hello.
Is that? I think I heard. I don't know what the hell is going on. Quite frankly, in the producer's studio. I think that was supposed to be in my ear. The sound of a seagull.
Yeah, even though he went caw.
Yeah, he went caw, which I don't know. Is that the sound of a seagull?
Hello, how are you? I hate sprint handicaps and computers.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, like I said, mate, there's a seat here. You can come in.
Yeah. I'm to Ascot. I couldn't make it, Ross. As you know damn well, I would have loved to have come in to sit by you.
I was at Ascot this morning, mate.
I was at Ascot until 5 o'clock. I only just got it.
All right, fair enough, Tom Segal. All right. I was going to say we'll let you off, but I think I've dropped my tiny violin. You having a day out at Ascot and only getting here now, but
can't believe you still haven't got your top hat on.
Many races.
Yeah. Okay. Tom Segal. Well.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, never mind. And have you tipped anything in the Norfolk? And have you tipped anything in the King George V?
No. Yes and no. Yes, Asterius in the first race. Nothing in this race.
All right. Fair enough.
That makes sense.
You could have joined us for that one and skipped this one, but never mind. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple of horses I'm just going to throw at you, Keels, and see this. Tom doesn't have a tip one in here.
Go on.
And there's similar-ish lines. One is trained by Jessica Harrington, who trained Birdman, and one was beaten behind Birdman last time out. And they're Highland Bling and Gaspar de Lemos, who both make handicap debuts. Both have similar-ish form. I like the way Highland Bling kept grinding. And Gaspar de Lemos, I mean, he was on the wrong side behind JRB at Newmarket, and I don't think he stayed at Navan. So I thought those two were interesting.
I think he's slow. I just think he's slow.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might not have stayed at Navan, but I mean, that wasn't a race that was a stamina test because it went slow.
Yeah, that is. He just looked like a horse who kind of got. I don't know. It kind of hit the furlong marker, and he kind of went, "I've kind of done here." Even I have gone on slowly, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I just thought
but
those
this
two
is going to be a
interesting.
test at a mile and a half, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? So no, I can't have him.
What about Highland Bling?
I can have Highland Bling. Yeah, I can certainly see him run. Well, Birdman's run a crack at a day, isn't he? He's run really well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so that form has stood up.
Yes.
Like, you know, so I certainly wouldn't ask for that one.
Lewis Knowles, what do we got here?
Nice special for you here. So I know Keels likes Pony Ross and a few people like Shanti, so you can Dutch them together. That was 11-4. We're now going 7-2 on either Shanti or Pony Ross to win this one. Best backed horse in the race up the top of the graphic there, Gilded Water. For the royal family. So this one was 10-1 early this morning, as you can see, now 6-1. So lots of money. Obviously, royal family very shrewd, aren't they? Very shrewd people. So yeah, lots of money for that one. And then I heard Keels mention Gallantly, which is the one I came down on here. Thought he won very impressively at Chester last time. He's a big galloping horse, isn't he? So I think a tight track like Chester might not have seen him to best effect. So I think he'll be even better here at Ascot. And yeah, I think he's around the 12-1 mark, which I think is quite a nice each-way price in this race.
Okay, Kealy.
Aidan O'Brien, worth mentioning, he doesn't have quite a shocking record with handicappers at Ascot. A really low strike rate, anyway.
Well, I mean, partly because he runs about 5 a race, doesn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean,
but he's only won this once in the last 10 years, and that was South Pacific at 22-1. Admittedly, he did train the second and third that year. So what we're saying is he either gets the tri-cast or nothing. Pretty much with his runners. Gilded Water is 6-1 favourite with Shanti, who is one of many from the O'Brien stable. Gilded Water, of course, representing same connections and won this last year with Desert Hero. Right, wide open stuff. Quickly on the chat, any opinions? I don't think anyone's gone mad and napped in this race, that's for sure, so I think we're all right with that. Where else have we got? Dunners is with Cambu. Persica is the proverbial group horse in a handicap, says Jive Turkey. Right.
3 from 52 since 2009.
O'Brien.
Aidan O'Brien in Royal Ascot handicaps.
Right. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I was going to ask you to name them then, but
hang on. Sir Isaac Newton.
There was one in that straight mile.
War
in the centre.
Envoy.
Yeah. And
South
Pacific.
Pacific's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't have got them, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I've got it here, thankfully.
There was a Magnia horse won the Sandringham, but it obviously wasn't trained by O'Brien.
Well, it might have been, but I've gone back to a certain level, 2009.
No, I don't. Well, there's 3 O'Briens now, so I'm probably thinking of a different one.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
moving on to the Ribblesdale, the 3:45 tomorrow. The Baby Oaks, Group 2, over a mile and a half here at Diamond Rain is 6-4 favourite. Calpana 4-1, Port Fairy 15-2, You Got to Me 17-2, Danielle 11's Forest Fairy 12s, Rubies are red. And this horse is slow, 14-1. Siola 16-1. It's a bit harsh, wasn't it? But she does look a bit. Lava Stream is in there as well with Queen's Fort, Jesu, Higher Leaves, and Shima's Rose. But crikey, this favourite certainly bred to win an Oaks. Never mind a Ribblesdale. By Shomadal out of Dancing Rain, of course, did win the Oaks. But there's been a lot of talk about Calpana. A lot of people have her very much up at the top of their list for bets this week at Royal Ascot. But again, this is, Tom, another race that can throw up a bit of a shock because, again, it's not a 2-year-old race over 5 furlongs, of course, but you still have plenty of horses, fillies, who are just coming into their own and are very much unexposed over the trip.
Yeah, it's a bit of a middling race, this, isn't it? Because you do get those, but quite a few of them ran in the, and was it 4 of them ran in the Oaks last time? 3 or 4 of them ran in the Oaks last time, and I'm not convinced that's the ideal preparation. I thought it was pretty straightforward, really. I thought Diamond Rain's the potential and Calpana's the form horse. I didn't like any of the other ones. I really didn't. I don't like the Oaks form. I think Rubies are Red's very slow. Port Fairy can improve, but it's going to have to because the form of the Chester race didn't exactly get boosted at Epsom. I thought Diamond Rain and Calpana are different strands of form. I like Calpana much more than Diamond Rain. I think Diamond Rain's priced up on potential rather than what she's done. I'm not entirely sure she'll stay the trip either, but I think Calpana's got better form anyway. I really, really liked her run at Newmarket last time. I know the winner blew out in the Musidora, but I still think that's the best form on offer. I thought the time was really good. So when she was 8 or 7-1 earlier in the day, I thought she was a really good bet. 4-1's probably about right now, but I didn't like any of the others.
Yeah, I kind of. I mean, it is kind of one of those races, isn't it? And a lot of it depends, I think, on track position again over this mile and a half. You might get a key and goer, or it doesn't settle, or something, get trapped 3 or 4 wide. Like I said, there are quite a few, I think, quirky individuals, to be fair. Again, he's still having a bit of a frustrating week. Everyone is mentioning it, but it's obviously been a frustrating day again for Kieran Schumacher. But Danielle, I thought was a little bit interesting. I mean, she's bred to be an Ascot horse. She comes from the family of, your Bronze Cannons and Courage Mon Ami, of course. But I thought she could improve for the faster ground. She might have just bounced a little bit at Linfield.
She might improve for faster ground. I mean, I've not looked too closely at her action, but she obviously won very easily on soft ground, and she's by Cracksman who loved the mud.
Yeah, it's more from the dam side. This fast ground form.
I can see that. I sort of agree with Tom. I tried to make a case for Port Fairy in the first time rise because Aidan O'Brien's actually got a pretty good record with that. Doesn't run many. I think it's 11 from 48 in the last 15 years. Last 15 years. But it's come down to not good enough. But it's interesting because, as Tom says, Calpana has the best form. Mm-hmm. If you look at speed figures, top speed, she's miles clear. But, I mean, you look at handicapping figures and it's completely different, isn't it? BHA actually has Diamond Rain better as a £2 better horse. RPRs have them level. I don't know who to agree with on that score, but I think Diamond Rain will win. I just love the way she won going away. I don't see any problem with the distance. I really don't. I know, Shamardale wouldn't have got a mile and a half in a horse box, but I mean, Dancing Rain got it really well.
Is there an issue with her with the ground? I know Dancing Rain placed on fast ground, but her best performances were on, at Epsom and.
Yeah, it's possible, but that day, I mean, again, that day in Newbury, Lockingstay, that was quick ground. That was faster than good.
It just looks proper, like really quick ground based on today.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll put some more water on tonight, but it'll just maintain it, so it will stay quick. But I don't see a problem. I thought it was pretty quick at Newbury, to be honest, as well.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. The only other one I would mention, Tom, is Forest Fairy. Who's how many horses have we seen sort of running lion today? I thought she hated Epsom. Absolutely hated it. You fancied her for the Oaks, and I watched her and thought, my God, you're all over the shop here.
It's possible. It's very possible. Obviously, we saw that. The boys were keen on running line yesterday. Yeah, she bounced. She could bounce back. Even then, I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced with the Chester form. I think Kalpana's form's better. I think she's got clearly the best form. I completely disagree with the official handicapper. I don't think there's any way you could make Diamond Rain having better form than Kalpana in my book. Or even on the handicap run when she won by 10 lengths, beating Align the Stars and Go Daddy, who ran a cracker in the London Gold Cup. I think that makes her a better form now. Totally get the Diamond Rain could improve faster. Of course she could, but I don't know. Big, huge unit, that Diamond Rain, bashing her feet on very fast ground. Worry for me.
Okay, fair enough. Lewis, what have you got for the Ribblesdale?
We're running a little bit scared of Kalpana here, as this one was 13-2 early this morning, now 4-1. So she's getting backed off the boards this afternoon. Dancing Rain as well, of course, at the head of the market, 6-4 from 7-4. So lots of attention around the head of the market. But we are paying 4 places each way, so it is maybe worth having a swing at one at a bigger price, which plenty of people are doing with this Lava Stream, which is now 16-1 from 25-1. I just thought You Got To Me for Rafe Beckett was quite a solid one here, 8.5-1. We are, like I say, with the 4 places, relatively solid fourth. I thought in the Oaks last time, and I thought she was pretty game in the Oaks trial at Lingfield the time before. So I think she'll certainly run a race, and I can't see her being far away. So, like I say, with them 4 places on offer, maybe 17-2 is solid each way bet.
Okay, thank you very much, Lewis. Kalpana is a cert for me, lads, says James Day. Won and placed in better races than this. And I think there was certainly Kalpana fans on the chat last night. I don't think there is tonight. Again, if your nap is running, make sure you put the nap in capital letters in the chat, and I can scroll through and pick it out. Stephen Loftus says there's a jockey problem on Danielle there, Ross. Yeah, it is lining up for Kieran Schumacher to either come out of this, like I said, as everyone's worst jockey, or rattle in 5 winners on a day and prove everyone wrong in one fell swoop. Jive Turkey doesn't fancy Diamond Rain at the price. Forest Fairy each way for cheese. Kalpana is my boys' nap as well for this 3:45 Ribblesdale Stakes at Ascot. Right, the Ascot Gold Cup then. A cracking lineup this year. KYPRIOS is back to wrestle back his crown. He's a 6-5 shot. Gregory in here at 11-2, a Royal Ascot winner in the past, of course, and trying to win the race for the owners once again. Trawlerman, another Gosden horse who's been improving and has plenty of course form. He normally warms up in the autumn, doesn't he? But he's conspicuously strong in the market at 13-2. We have, of course, the incredibly versatile Vauban at 7-1. Coltrane, who's never finished out of the first 2 in 5 starts on fast ground, although he's getting on a bit now. He's 12-1. Sweet William 14-1. Keys Corris at 16-1. And then, of course, old friends like Trushan at 40-1. We've also got Pridven and Enemy in here, who've got quite a bit to find on form. Never mind stamina. But it is, of course, KYPRIOS who's heads the betting here at 6-5. Very different proposition to the vast majority of the 20-runner straight track races at Keels. Doesn't make it any easier though, unless of course you think KYPRIOS is back to his best and will take a lot of beating.
Well, I mean, who knows whether he's back to his best? He certainly isn't back to his best in what he's done so far this year, is he? Like, he's won.
Yeah. Yeah,
fine. But I mean, the numbers say that's a long way off. Now, he doesn't want to be at his peak then, does he? He's just doing the job and being keyed up for this. A bit like August Rodin, who won today. You know what I mean? He wasn't very peak and he hit the target. You know what I mean? I still don't think he's quite as good as he was last year, but he hit the target. And all depends, KYPRIOS's Gold Cup win 2 years ago, there's nothing that special about that. It beat Mojo Star off a burning victory, was beaten 11.25 or something like that. There's nothing special about that piece of form. But the later bits of form at Riccara when he beat Hamish, who is a little legend himself, and and then that 20-length win at Longchamp. That puts him miles clear, but that is, it's more than a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And he's got RPRs of 109 on both starts this season. Everything's beaten that this year, isn't it? Nearly everything's beaten that this year.
Me and you to give that a good go, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could probably do 9.
Right. I'll have to bring the 100 to it. Okay,
you know what I
fine.
mean? So, and what he's shown this season, this is a way more open race.
Yeah.
But the potential there is for him to come back, and this is what he's been absolutely trained for. So you can understand why he's a short price favourite, but I think, and Tom will say the same, I think people like us are just going to take him on.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And it's what do you take him on with? And I can see the cases for loads. I mean, I see the money is coming for Trawlerman now, and I was tempted by that. I mean, and the quote last time, one of the weirdest quotes I've ever seen, saying the ground was too fast for him. It's just mad, and because he's got no.
Well, he's won 5 times on Good to
Film. Yeah, I know. He's won loads. You know what I mean? And it's just,
He won an E-ball on fast ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he loves it. So I mean, he's definitely got a chance. I've sort of missed the boat on that one. I think if Vauban stays, he'll be a player. Gregory, I know Tom likes. He can explain that one. But in the end, I just thought, what's wrong at a double figure price with Coltrane? I mean, he loves Ascot. I mean, we're both at the back in Ascot horses anyway, aren't we? But he loves Ascot. He's normally consistent. He just lost the plot a little bit last season, but that was after reversing form with Courage Mon Ami and York. And he's beaten half a length in this race last year when he went on Fab, and he's suddenly a double figure price. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And
he's one of those. He's the first name in the play spot, for example, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. If he's in form, he's going to stick his head down. He's going to try all the way. So I'm having an each way bet on him. Obviously, Ashley Murphy's riding out of his skin.
Yeah.
3 winners so far already this week. There will be more.
And Andrew Balding, he's not had a winner yet, but Hopeful got beat on the line. Kasai got stopped 15 times. Al-Sakib ran well.
Al-Sakib ran a cracker. He was the one horse I wanted to take out of yesterday, really, and for future purposes. A horse that has outrun his pedigree already and looks like he wants further.
Yeah.
What I mean? But I think he'll pick up a decent price. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the form of the yard. Obviously, it's a low strike rate at the moment, but plenty of running well. I just think he's the wrong price.
Yeah.
Simple as
like
that.
I said, the only horse to have beaten him on Good to Firm is Courage Mon Ami. He's won his other 4. So, he loves the game. That said, when KYPRIOS won the Ascot Gold Cup, Tom, and either side of him, he was an improving 4-year-old. When he's not won it, it's been won by improving 4-year-olds, and there's one improving 4-year-old in here, and that's Gregory.
That's the one I like. Yeah, I mean, Keels and I, we agree on a lot, but we sort of disagree we don't disagree, but I like potential, and they often are underpriced. And then you get the old boys that are overpriced because everyone thinks they've done their best. So I totally get the Coltrane argument angle, because he's just going to run his race, isn't he? It's just whether he can win. And I don't like betting in races. I don't like betting horses that I'm not sure can win. And that's the only argument I have with Coltrane. If it all falls apart, of course he can. But for me, I just like the potential of Gregory. He's definitely going to stay the trip. 100% is he going to stay the trip. In fact, he's going to improve for the trip. He needs to, because even on his best form, normally, your Mojo Stars come into this and nearly beat KYPRIOS a few years back, and he was second in the Derby. Gregory wasn't that good as a 3-year-old, nowhere near that good. He was pretty good. He won the Queen's Vase. He was 3rd in the Voltigeur, was it? And 5th in the St. Leger, something like that. So he was pretty high class, but I just think he's going to take off. I really liked his comeback run. The stable will bang out of form. Vauban's dangerous if he stays. He's definitely dangerous if he stays, but if he pulls like anything like he has done in the past, he's not going to get home. But then it's Willie Mullins, isn't it? Who knows what? If you can get Bellocchio to improve 20 pounds on fast ground, then he can do anything in my book. So I do find Vauban dangerous. I agree with Keels. I think Coltrane's going to run a really big race. But for me, I just like the potential of Gregory. I like backing horses with potential. Now he's getting a bit on the short side now on form, but he's going to take a big step forward, and I think he can win.
One more I'm going to throw in, who's an old friend of yours, and maybe Keels as well, but the mare Keys Chorister, who's really upped her game, stepped up in trip, beaten only ahead by Coltrane, ahead by Sweet William, loves fast ground. Again, she's another one. Whether you're thinking she's going to beat an Onsong, KYPRIOS and Gregory is another thing, but she never runs a bad race.
Absolutely not. No, she's fantastic mare to own, isn't she? I mean, I remember backing her in the Melrose one year. She got absolutely wiped out by Solcombe, but she beat the rest. And I don't know. I think she could run. They can all run well. I
mean, there's one that could run well at a massive price, and that's Pridwen.
Yeah, all of them could run well.
I mean, he won the all-weather final, and after that one next time at Southall, and it's the only race in the last 4 that yesterday's Ascot Stakes winner has lost. And Pridwen was giving him £22 and beat him pretty easily. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I doubt very much whether he's going to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if he grabbed a bit of the prize money at a massive price. Yeah,
and he ran quite well here last August, didn't he? And I think it was the Segal Cup, I think.
Yeah.
Segal Cup
It just wouldn't surprise me. He's just one of those silly ones that he seems to be improving at his age. And
that sounds like a Kealy. That sounds like a Kealy throwaway 20-30 quid bet coming on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we know where he's going to finish. He's going to run his absolute face off and finish 4th. You can feel it in your waters.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll have backed him for the first 3 only.
Yeah. KYPRIOS 65 then here, Lewis. No extra places, I don't think, on the Ascot Gold Cup, but you might have something else up your sleeve.
I've always got something up my sleeve for you, Ross. So, of course, we're going to go Whistle Jacket in the first in the Norfolk and KYPRIOS here, both to win by over a length. We're going to go 7-1 from 6-1 if you fancy them to, as I say, both win by over a length. KYPRIOS has been quite easy to back today, so was 5-6 earlier this morning, now 6-5, so a little bit of resistance to him. As you say, we've seen some good money for Trawlerman, 13-2 from 15-2, and a bit of each way money around for Sweet William as well, 14-1 from 18-1. But I think I'd just keep it simple here. I think KYPRIOS is the best horse in the race. I know he's pretty short, but anything around that 6-5, 5-4 mark, I think is a fair bet. And I think he'll get a nice toe into the race, and I don't think they'll catch him.
Okay, thank you very much, Lewis. You always got something up your short sleeves, that's for sure. What have we got here? This is not a vintage Gold Cup, says Peter Lepage. Coltrane could grind it out when it Ascot last time out. Let's have a look at what have we got. Mike Boy says Keels literally just copies me. Finally, we found the key to Keels as tipping.
Oh, great. Can somebody else to blame? Can you tell us what your Twitter handle is, please? I'll pass it on.
You can tweet him every time. Nice to have a scapegoat, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Jim McGillivray fancies Gregory. Coltrane doesn't truly stay 2.5 miles, says Tommy Daniels, which is...
Oh, that's harsh.
That's an interesting take, I think, after being beaten ahead in this by Courage Mon Ami. Trawlerman needs Frankie, says Tom Leach. Sweet William needs soft ground.
Every horse at Ascot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, who doesn't need Frankie? Sweet William needs soft, says David Foster. Sweet William wants it soft, says Tommy Daniels. And Sweet William is too much of a thinker, says Tom Leach. So, not much love for Sweet William.
There's a bunch of Toms there, wasn't there? Is everyone called Tom on the show today?
I know. That said, Destiny
mentioned Sweet William.
We mentioned Sweet William. There's no Toms in here. Destiny Sound says Sweet William could be the best there. Come on, Rav. So, you say it's a game of opinions. Like you said, it's it's very much a game of opinions.
Fantastic, isn't it? I love hearing other people's opinions. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm absolutely loving the European Championship. I really am. But really, you can only have, at the best, 2.5 opinions to go to war with that. Yeah. You never ever respect the person who goes, I think it'll be a draw, actually. But in this, you can get stuck into the Gold Cup and you can be right and you can be wrong. You can be wrong. Someone on Twitter today was, as I said about Rod as his nap going in, Tom, and people were saying, yeah, but he's wrong most of the time. We're all wrong most of the time. The point is to get right at the right prices. You can be wrong 8 times out of 10 if you're backing 10-1 shots.
Absolutely right.
We're all wrong. There isn't a punter in the world that isn't wrong most of the time, unless they're betting 100-1 on shots and in running.
And even then, you just need one to forget to weigh in, and you've done your cash anyway. So
yeah, I can't believe.
The point is, it's Royal Ascot at the end of the day. I was watching a few races today. I watched that first Queen Mary today, and I thought, we're bonkers betting at this. It's absolutely carnage. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're all over the place. They're dive bombing at you from everywhere. You don't know which horse is which, and then all of a sudden one's in the front. And then the worst thing is, if you back the winner, you feel pretty terrible because you watch the race again and there was 37 that were unlucky.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And it's 125 runners tomorrow. 118 of them aren't going to win.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
And I reckon about 109 of them are probably going to be either screwed by the draw or stopped in the run. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, take that Queen Mary for a second. I really fancied Miss Rascal. Back Miss Rascal. She ran her absolute face off. Finished 5th. Career best.
Yeah.
Finished 5th.
Yeah, exactly. I backed Oisin Murphy's thing. Everyone says he rode what I've never seen. My God, that horse never saw daylight for 5 furlongs.
Yeah.
It's only a 5-furlong race.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely. But anyway, it's all the
Thank
fun
God
of
for
the
the
fair.
extra places, eh?
I know. I was going to say, I've had a really good day. I've only backed 2 winners. The other 3 have finished in the places at big prices. That's all you need. You just need to sneak in. It's fine. Who needs winners? You just need to filth them into 5th. Anyway, that was enjoyable. I enjoyed that, guys.
I did. Yeah, let's crack on.
Should we crack on? Right, let's get on to one of my favourite races of the week, otherwise known as the Who Will Be Sold for Big Money to Hong Kong Handicap. It is the Britannia Stakes, of course. And again, it is one of my favourite races, but it is also absolutely guaranteed the race for me to get stuck into one. It finished 6th on the wrong side and then win 3 races later on in the season at 6-4 at Newmarket. But Voltaire is 7-1, Air Commander 8-1, Kirat 10-1, Star Law 11s, Mickley 11s, Native Warrior 12s, Skakuza 14s, Involvement 14s. We've got loads of other good horses in here who could get involved. Who else have we got? Cogitate as potentially well handicapped. Mission to Moon, a little bit unlucky last time out. Arctic Thunder won here last time. Lautrec with the blinkers on. Watcher Mate is in great form. Blue Lemons has got good form lines. The Camden Colt keeps running into one. Monkey Island for Brian Meehan for owners who've already had a winner. Whipcracker back down in Trip's got a big chance. Son of Man ran into one at Goodwood last time out. I'll appreciate the step up in Trip. Cuban Tiger, this is easier than what he's been running on. Dragon Leaders 2 from 2 on Good to Firm. Bobsleigh's got a good run here. So Les Patterson's from a yard in form. Watch My Trace has got a hood on. He could improve. And Greg Cuban's back down to his best form over a mile here as well.
That was a bit Jeff Stelling, that, wasn't it? Eh?
It was. I haven't even finished yet. We've still got half the field to go through. That said, when Volterra won at Newmarket back in May, my note said, goes to the Britannia. And he's the favourite.
There you go. So that's what you're backing.
No, I'll be backing 4 of this. He's what I should have backed when I knew he was going to go for the Britannia.
Talking of extra places, this is the one race you don't get any because the profits go from bookmakers give the profits to charity.
Yep.
So don't moan about it.
No, I absolutely will not moan about it when it finishes 5th.
In general, not you.
No, not me personally, yeah.
Yeah, because I get a few tweets saying, "Well, we've got no extra places in this," and that sort of thing. This is why.
Do you say it's not all about you?
Yeah, profits go okay. Just get on. Just have a go. I'm hoping I got one here.
Okay.
And it was, believe it or not, I mean, you must have mentioned 22, but you didn't mention it. Cracking Gold.
All right, okay. That's why I didn't mention it.
Cox. I like trainers who've got patterns. And, they're creatures of habit. They think they've got a good horse. They map out a campaign that they've mapped out before. And Cracking Gold was all set to run in the Silver Bowl at Haydock. He was entered. He came out because the ground was soft. Now, Clive Cox won that race twice for the same owners with Crack On, who's...
he was placed in this, wasn't he?
No, I don't think... Yeah.
Because I backed him.
No, I know he was well beaten in this, and then he won a big field handicap on King George Day at Ascot. Who Put 50 in You was the other one. He was 4th in this, I think.
Yeah.
Either that or the other way around, but I think I'm right. But anyway, Cracking Gold is out of her half-sister to Crack On, and by Havana Gold, it was Crack On, sire. He'd have run there if the ground hadn't gone soft. So he's taken out. I thought he was going to win that race on fast ground, but the good news is he hasn't gone up in the handicap, has he?
Yeah.
And
he wouldn't have beaten Nelly Laylax in those conditions, would he?
Well, he wouldn't have won in those conditions. That's why they took him out. But obviously, Who Put 50 in You or Crack On, because I genuinely can't remember. The one who finished 4th in the Britannia did so off a £10 higher mark.
That's the one I was thinking that I backed in. Who Put 50 in You? That's the one who won it and finished 4th in this.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. So anyway, I just like the way he won his first 2. He got in a little bit of trouble in his last race, his first handicap. Probably should have won that. And then at Sandown, he just won in one of those silly races that you get in Sandown, small field. The winner led. The second raced in second, the third raced in third, and he raced in last and made a place. You know, I mean, but it's good form because, you know, I think Blue Lemons was fourth in that, third and was finished fourth in the what's it, and the runner-up second in the Italian Derby.
Yep.
And has gone up a stone. So I think that race is good form anyway. I think he's because he's a strong traveller who races a bit Kealy. I think he's absolutely crying out for a strong test going up in trip. And yeah, I just because Clive Cox was aiming their horse, the Rooney's horse, at that race, and has now come here. It's 25 to 1. I just think that's
You just leapt out
very
to you.
tempting. He leapt out to me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I didn't mention him, but he's got a cracking chance. There's other ones I didn't mention as well. King's Gamble, I thought was really interesting. Won first time out last year.
Here's another one. Yeah.
Third in the Acom, and then Danny Tuptop was kind, I feel, at Doncaster on his return to get him ready for this.
Yeah, he did run really well there. I love Danny Taddo on Ascot as well. I love him.
He's just a very
He's just a very good jockey.
Yeah, especially in big fields. Cracking race this, Tom. What was in your short list, your long list potentially, given the race?
All those ones you mentioned, Ross.
Yeah.
Plus, Keels has just put me on another one. Plus, you didn't mention Follow Me. I don't think, who I like.
I didn't.
So I got 25 on the list at the moment. I have backed two because it's so busy this week. We get up. Keels is probably the same. I get my copy done very early. So it's probably over at about 11 or 12 o'clock in the morning. And Volterra was a 16 to 1 shot. Now he's a 7 to 1 shot. So those sort of things happen. A part of that's probably my fault, but I thought he had a very good chance. Not sure. It's a bit like the one the Caseo one today. I mean, I dream of backing her at 7 to 2 as she ended up starting. But that's where I landed. This morning, and also I like Mickley, and I like Mickley quite a lot. He would be my main choice. Really impressed with him on the all-weather at Southall, and then even more impressed with him at Doncaster last time. Won so easily, absolutely ears pricked, and could have won by a lot more. Callum Rodriguez was sort of calling him down, stopping him in the last half furlong. Run Billy Boy, something like that.
At Chester. Love Billy Boy at Chester, yeah.
Came out at 1 at Chester on Saturday. He was fourth. He was miles behind. Ed Bethel's horses ran really well this week. Elim ran well, and Regional ran well.
Well, funnily, you tipped Elim. Ed Bethel's last 4 runners, 3 of them won, and 1 of them was Elim. So
yeah, but she ran really well, didn't she? Just a little bit drawn away from the pace, 5th or 6th. I just thought Mickley was going to improve for the Soldier's Call, one at Royal Ascot. His sire, his sort of horses go very well on fast ground. I just thought he was going to go well. You can make a case for loads. Dashing Darcy is another one that I think was really suited by the race. He was really impressive. I thought he took a massive step forward at Haydock the other day. It's really quite hard to come from last to first at Haydock on decent ground, but he did it, and he won easily. And a bit in the style of Crackshot today. I wouldn't be surprised if there's money for Lautrec down the bottom. Just sneaked in after one was pulled out, or a couple were pulled out. John Gosden had, I think, 2 horses entered in the Guineas at the start of the season, and he was one of them, or might have been the Derby, one of those races. But I went through them and thinking, blimey, Gosden hasn't got any 3-year-olds, and this was one of the 2 that was entered in a classic at the start of the season. He obviously is not as good as they hoped he might be. But he ran pretty well last time, giving weight to Skakusa, who's a much shorter price in the market. He's got the pieces on. He's got Trap 32, which I don't know is any good or any bad, but it wasn't bad in the last race on the day in the Windsor Castle, was it, So
it's very rarely been a bad place to be in the Britannia, hasn't it? I mean, sometimes it turns into it's almost like a right-handed triangle, isn't it? With all the runners fanning out and one horse coming down this. Yeah,
it just sort of guarantees a clear run as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because they're all going to spread out, and if you're on 32, you're going to be on a wing, aren't you? Unless they all come over, but I don't think they will. I think they'll spread out. So I could see him going well, but Mickley was my main fancy, really.
Okay, I thought you were going to suggest that it was Lautrec's race to lose. You know, after all this, and I mentioned the Voltaire, we've mentioned all this, I'm going to back 3 horses and we haven't talked any of them up yet. So I'm going to give them a quick talk up. The one of them is, I swear to God, watch Involvement's win on debut on fast ground. He's only run on fast ground. Watch that final furlong and tell me that's not an optical illusion. That the way that horse wins, I think he's going to win by a length, and then wins by 4 out of nowhere, I thought was unbelievable. He was unlucky at Newcastle, he was unlucky at Epsom, he was unlucky at Haydock. So if this horse isn't better than 96, I am a Dutchman. Which, you know, I don't know my dad's side of the family, you never know. The other one's Watch and Matey, I think, has been underrated, because he's gone up in the handicap. But again, he must have been last time out, it looked like the crowd were coming to him, and he pulled away again. He just kept going and going and going. He's, he's won all his races pretty much over a mile on fast ground. And Whipcracker, he was the first one I looked at in this race. I thought back down in trip, he's drawn 28. He's finished second to J.O.R. I mean, the horses at Newmarket, he's had the Derby second and fourth. He's had Caviar Heights, who's now rated a stone higher and bolted up next to night in third. J.O.R.'s well fancied for a group race later on. He's in a handicap of 101.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm listening to you go on there, and it just makes me realise how senile I'm getting, because I forgot that in that Silver Bowl at Haydock, which has been, you know, not for a while, a guide to this, but I backed Involvement.
Yep.
I remember putting it up and really fancying it, and he was 16s down to 7s or something like that.
And he ran a stormer.
And he ran an absolute stormer, yes.
Yeah, OK, fair enough. Right, Lewis, are there any horses from this 30-run field that we haven't mentioned?
I'm going to win. That's the only one we haven't mentioned.
Come on, Lewis, give us the TriCast from the 3 that haven't mentioned.
Well, I'm with the one that you guys have mentioned. Involvement's going to win this, as you say. Very good running second in the Silver Bowl last time at Haydock. The 2 at the top of the market, the ones we've seen big moves for this afternoon. So Volterra, 7-1 from 10-1. And Air Commander as well for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. That one 8-1 from 14-1. So big moves for that one. But as Mr. Kealy said earlier on, all profits from this race from bookmakers go to charity. So it's a very, very good cause. And we all know that people on Twitter love nothing more than to sit there and praise bookmakers. So I look forward to reading all the tweets later on, telling us what wonderful thing we're doing. And it's just a wonderful opportunity, isn't it, for everyone to have a couple of quid on a horse and give something back to some good causes.
Absolutely. There we go. Lovely stuff. That's the Britannia then. 2 more races on day 3. We've got the Hampton Court Stakes, otherwise known as the Tercentenary back in the day, which I, again, still can't get that name out of my head. But King's Gambit's 13-8. First Look 9-2. Bracken's Laugh 6-1. 7-1 Portland. JRAB is 8-1 and 16-1 bar those. This might be a Group 3. You might be thinking, why is the 13-8 shot who won a handicap last time out? King's Gambit looks a very nice horse indeed. The last, I think it's last 8 winners of this had all been proven in group company, but the 2 before that, and the only 2 that have ever won the London Gold Cup and came to this race, both absolutely dotted up. The problem is, Keels, I'm pretty sure if I walked out into the street right now, I'd bump into 5 people who'd already backed this at random. So I think everyone's on him already.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you know, a horse that won a handicap of 93 last time is 13-8 to beat a horse that finished second in the French Derby last time. And, yeah, I think it wins. It's as simple as that. I mean, he absolutely hosed up, didn't he? We've seen how good the form is with the 4th hosing up at Epsom. It's the London Gold Cup. It throws up group winners year after year after year. This one's trained by Harry Charlton. Roger Charlton's won the race with Time Test, Headman and Al Kazim, that London Gold Cup. So they know a good horse when they got it. Really bullish comments in the paper as well. I think he's going to end up shorter, and I think he'll probably win. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me, Tom, to actually see this horse go off odds on, given how many people seem to think he's an absolute certainty. Again, he might be. He's still 12 on the field at Royal Ascot and 13-8 against pretty much, I don't know, half the field are currently rated higher than him and still have more to come as well. So is he one of those ones that you don't really want to take on, but you also don't want to back?
I wouldn't back him. No, I don't back it. You know, that's way too short for me. He looked brilliant, didn't he, at Newbury? But I think sometimes, I don't know it's the case, but sometimes we just say, it was the London Gold Cup, it's a brilliant race. Not entirely convinced it was a brilliant race. I'm really not. It might be. It might have been. I know Keels fancies Ross to run well in the race later on, so I'm hoping for his sake it was. I thought Persica won a non-event at Epsom, really. He got in front on the speedy highway down there on that inside rail on the final day, and beat a non-stayer probably. The rest of them weren't that great. The bit of form in behind, is it Into Battle, was pretty much smashed at Sandown on Saturday. No, he didn't get a run or anything, didn't get a clear run or anything. But I'm not convinced it's out of the world form. What I do think, where I agree with you, is he did personally look out of this world. He looked superb, didn't he? He looked like he was a Derby horse for all the money in the world. So I get where you're coming from. It's just I wouldn't have 13-8 in an Ascot 20 runner Ascot race, or not 20, 16 or however many. It's round the bend there. It's not for me. First look, finished fast, didn't he? He looked pretty good. I can't believe this was where they were planning on coming. So I don't know about him. I thought Caviar Heights might run well at a price. I thought he, at the time of his win, when he won I'm never going to remember the name of it. The race.
It was the Newmarket Stakes. So it's of all the races, it was. We've got Hampton Courts and King George or something. It's the Newmarket Stakes.
But the second horse ran really well in the Derby, didn't he? Sadati, or whatever he's called. Mm-hmm. He ran really well in the Derby. He was fifth. Caviar Heights absolutely battered him that day. Literally battered, beat him 4 lengths. If that would have put him like third in the Derby. He blew out at York last time. Loads of horses blow out at York. Carl Burke's horses, as we saw today, are flying, and I just thought he's a lot better than he showed last time. So I'd give him a chance. Listen, King's Gambit might well win, and he probably will. He's 13-8, but it's just not the type of horse I like backing. So I might throw a few quid on Caviar Heights, I think, at a big price.
Fair enough. I'm going to throw a few quid at JRB, I think, who looked really, really good on fast ground on debut. I mean, you don't even have to excuse his run behind Brazilian, do you? He's finished 6 lengths behind a dual Group 1 winner. He then battered Caviar Heights and Whipcracker and Ambiente Friendly. And I mean, battered them at Newmarket. And then at Chester last time out, one of them got withdrawn. They messed around down at the start. It was a 4-runner race at Chester, for God's sake. I mean, you put a line through that. He's better than that. He's got to be better than that. On that Newmarket form, he's not far off second favourite, I don't think. But yeah, I'll have a crack on him. But everyone else is on King's Gambit, Lewis. And I don't know what price he was when the markets went up for this. But if your Persicas or your Ponerosas win earlier in the day, you might get even shorter.
Yeah, it seems like every man and his dog is on King's Gambit. So he was 5-2 early this morning. Now 13-8. A lot of money for that one. I must just mention a horse called Under the Sun here, who's 50-1, just because we went to Hugo Palmer's yard up in Cheshire in March, and we're sort of asking for some horses to follow. And this was one of his big horses to follow for the season. And even when I've spoken to him this morning, he brought me back to Under the Sun. And he said, "Don't forget about this horse." He said he might be 50-1 tomorrow, but he's still a horse we retain a lot of faith in, and things haven't got quite right for him so far this season. So he thought he was a big price at 50-1 and was capable of running a big race. But I quite like Bracken's Laugh here for Richard Hughes. I thought he travelled like the best horse around Chester last time. Strong travel. I think he'll get into a good rhythm. And I thought he was an interesting bet at around the 6-1 mark.
Okay, thank you very much, Lewis. King's Gambit is the nap for Sean Matthews. Bracken's Laugh to win Hampton Court, then go to St Ledger in September, says Jolly Jassoy. All in capitals. So there we go. Thank you very much. I said, to be fair, I did say get your bet in capitals. That's the Hampton Court Stakes. Last race then is the Buckingham Palace Stakes, another big field handicap, 28 of them, 7 furlongs the distance farthest, and if it isn't a Wathnam racing horse in the shape of English Oak, one of many. 4-1, Divine Libra 7-1, King's Time 11-1, Fresh 11-1, 12-1, Mosnapshire, 14's Northern Express and Koi Koi, and 16's Bar. Again, another one where it's practically a family album of horses that Paul Kealy has backed in big field handicaps over the years. Actually, there's more than a family album. It's more like it's like a school photo of an entire class. These
are my sort of races, aren't they? So you do. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine I backed every horse on that page apart from the favourite.
Yeah, fair enough. So who joins the class?
None of them today, funnily enough. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, English Oak absolutely bolted up last time. He was up £9. It was a Mickey Mouse race, to be honest. Like, older horses exposed, etc. But he's got a Group 1 entry. You know what I mean? He's entered for all sorts. And if he lives up to those group entries, then he's still really well in off a mark of 99. But do you want to take 5-1 in a near 30 runner handicap when you're no better than evens to be on the correct side? Like, you know what I mean? It's just
not really.
You know, it's not for me. You know, my eye is always drawn to fresh when it comes to Ascot. And I'm having a look at him, and he's come down to a mark of 92, which is £9 lower than when he was beaten 2 lengths in last year's Wokingham, and he's probably more a 7 furlong horse when the ground is quick anyway. And I looked at him and thought, well, he's a 7-year-old, he hasn't won for a year and a half, he's 12 to 1, 11 to 1, and he's not being ridden by Danny Tudhope.
No.
Why isn't he being ridden by Danny Tudhope? He's a Clipper Logistics horse. He rides him all the time. His 2 of his biggest wins have been, you know, under him.
And what's the answer?
Danny Tudhope was riding Al Zahir, who is part owned by Clipper Logistics, and it's trained by David O'Mara, and it's more than double the price. He went off 6 to 1 for a Chesham Stakes 2 years ago and pulled the jockey's arms out for about 3.5 furlongs and got well beat. Went for a wind up after. He had some interesting form for John and Thady Gosden. He won a 190 grand conditions race in Doha. Then he was second, beating ahead to Brave Emperor, who's rated 114 now. Had a couple of quiet ones I wouldn't say too quiet. Went to David O'Mara. He's paid, you know, pretty good at picking up these horses cheaply. I think he paid 82,000 guineas for him. Well beat first time at York. 66 to 1, 5th of 12 at Chelmsford in September was perfectly reasonable run, as was, and I thought quite eye-catching, a 4th of 13 at Chester on his return, again at 40 to 1 under Oisin Murphy. Danny Tudhope back on. He must have had the choice. I mean, I can't see any other reason for him to be riding. He must have had the choice. There's no weight issues whatsoever.
Yep.
And to turn down a horse with such impeccable Ascot credentials, it's just got to be interesting. At that price alone, you've just got to you've got to have a couple.
And how
of
many
quid.
times has David O'Mara popped up in big field Ascot
exactly.
handicaps?
He's an absolute master at big field handicaps. Everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? He wins
Get
loads.
Shirty ran really well yesterday.
Get Shirty's run well the other day. So yeah, I just think that's a massive price. And I was looking at the other Wathland horse, Make Me King.
Yeah.
I just thought he was quite interesting on bits and pieces and form. Yeah, he didn't run at all well on his return over here for Hamad Al Jahani, but he was 4th in a Group 2 in Maidan the time before that, and it was over 1 mile, 1 furlong, and he was in front half a furlong out, and just didn't quite get home. Wathland paid 380 grand for him after he was second to Beshtani, who they also bought for 340. Now Beshtani went off about 10 or something for the Hunt Cup, and this thing's like 33 to 1. His first time cheek pieces, Beshtani, it was Beshtani, just got beat at Epsom, first time cheek pieces. So yeah, that interested me again at a price. He's got the ability.
Yeah.
So those were 2 at big prices for me. You can obviously make a case for $1 million if you want to go on to your Jeff Stelling, but you know, hopefully not.
Not as much as the Britannia is my race for this. I've only got 2 in this one I quite fancy. So I'll hand it over to you, Tom.
Blimey, it's tiring, isn't it? These races.
We could get some nationals if you want. We could have an Ascot national if you like. That's more.
Oh, that'd be much better because you can at least count 10, 25 out of the national. I don't think you can count any out in these races.
Of course you can't.
I really, really think they're really, really hard. English Oak's way too short. He has to be in a race like this at 4 to 1. Look, good luck backing him, but my goodness, there's so many to make a case for. Fresh, obviously. I thought Keel's made a good case for a couple there. Northern Express always runs well. Mostabshire's going to bounce about. Coy hated Epsom. I'm starting. I was going to do a.
Do it.
Stop. I ended up, because it's my one, on the potential of King's Time for Jessica Harrington. I really was impressed with him. I like Irish handicaps over 7 furlongs and a mile. I think they have quite a good record in backing winners in them. So I was really interested in the Cork race he ran in, and he was a massive drifter. And I was, that's weird because he looks like an unexposed sort of 7 runner. He's only had 7 or 8 runs in his life, horse running in this race, and he absolutely bolted up. It was a good race. It was one of the best Irish handicaps run all season over 7 furlongs. It's by Exceed Excel, who has a ridiculous record at Ascot on fast ground. I could just see him going really well. Now the price has gone a bit, but I just liked his profile for the race. But like Keel said, you can make a case. I did have a good look at Azza here, or whatever the one he said with Danny Tudhope on. I had a really good look at that. And I was going to tip a couple more, but then I just thought you end up tipping 3 or 4 in these races, and you just get more and more frustrated. So I ended up just on King's Time, but you can make a case for loads.
There is nothing more frustrating. There is nothing more frustrating than these races, are they? I mean, I backed the 2nd and the 4th in the Home Cup, and had the savers on the 1st, and 3rd, and the 5th. Like, you know, I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? Because you get the old scattergun out, don't you? Because you can't help yourself. Like, you know, I mean, I will end up back in KYPRIOS as well. He was unsteerable in the straight at Epsom. Like, you know, I mean, he's done. You know, I mean, he did well not to go through the rail. Really, the jockey just did his best to keep him on track. But he's.
Well, I love your enthusiasm, guys, but we are 10 minutes over, and you'll go in through the field.
One final one I've got to mention is tackle.
Yes.
Listen, you're coming here 15 minutes late, Tom. You're 10 minutes over, and you're throwing in Richard Hannon horses who love heavy ground and Goodwood.
Hey, listen, I've missed my train now, chaps, so we can go on if you want. I don't care.
No, I'm supposed to be meeting some friends for dinner at 8, but by this point I'll be eating my own.
Here I was thinking you would buy me a pint on all that money you want to do.
No, I'm going to buy you dinner tomorrow night instead to make up for it. But anyway, you make a quick case for Sacred Bay. I'm going to make a quick case for 2. We're going to go to Lewis. We're going to play it out. We're going to get the naps, and we're all going to go home happy and watch Scotland beat Switzerland.
Well, just in that international handicap last year, he was first name on his side. He was rated, I think, 103 then. He's in 90-something now. He's got a claim of taking £3 off. So he's just got a great form chance if he can repeat that. But you can say the same for loads of them.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. He's got a very good form chance. I had a short list of 3. One of them I scratched off, which was Divine Libra, who can't buy luck in a luck shop, but he's drawn 28 and has Ryan Moore on. I'm going to back 2. One is Dark 30, who has run once here at Ascot, 4 lengths behind Rohan, no chance down the middle of the track. And here's the flyer, drawn 27, the XO. Watch his run back at Ascot on his penultimate start, and then look how wide he went at Epsom and how short he went in running to win that race. He's interesting, I thought. 28-1, the XO, I think he is. Right, Lewis, round it up.
Right, good race yet to have a swing at it, one at each way price here. So 6 places on offer here in the last. We've seen good money for English Oak. So yeah, English Oak 4-1, Fan 5-1 the last couple of hours. So good money for that one. We've got a special involved in this horse as well. And of course, we've got England that will clash with this at the England game when they play Denmark tomorrow, late afternoon. So English Oak, top 3 finish, and England to beat Denmark. We're going to go 3-1 from 5-2 if you want to be patriotic and back those 2. I'm going to back Mosta Bashir here. I thought he ran perfectly well in the St James's Palace at this festival last year. I think he's very capable of winning a race like this off 102. So as I say, I think with those 6 places each way on offer, he's a good each way bet at 12-1.
Of course, that's why English Oak's 4-1. It's the filthy doubles with England. I should have known. God, I tell you, if there's a horse called Vindaloo running this week, it'd be a right trouble, wouldn't it? Anyway, here's an ad, and we'll get the naps.
Here they come, racing lovers of the UK in the Coral Fat Derby. Ladies' Day ladies leading the Tracky Brigade. Top Hat and Tails overtaking the country gentry. Tweed surely chafing. On the outside, Maggie and her cuppa. Into the home straight, it's Danny's Stag 2 clawing their way up the field. Nan's got the experience, but does she have the legs? But it's the bloke who doesn't know which horse is his. He's won it, and he doesn't even know it. It's the bands that make racing what it is. Coral, we're here for it.
Okay, day 3, Royal Ascot naps then, starting off with the man to my left, Mr. Paul Kealy.
I'm going Poneros in the 114 handicap second race.
Poneros it is. Tom Segal, best bet for you.
The one I didn't turn up for, Asterius, in the first.
Mysterious, I think you are after that.
I just thought Watson's horses always run well. I was really impressed with him at Bath. I think he's got a very good chance.
Lovely stuff. Lewis, best bet?
I'm going for gold. I'm going to go Binadam in the Norfolk at 50-1 to run a big race at an each way price.
Okay, fair enough. And apart from putting 20 horses in a combination tricast in the Britannia, I do think J-Ray B is going to run a big race against King's Gambit. That's it from us then. We are back, like I said, 7 o'clock tomorrow, so we can all watch England land the second half of that English Oak England double, or potentially scrape a 1-1 draw and we can all come on and grumble. But 7 o'clock tomorrow. Enjoy Royal Ascot. Good night.